What's up, family? And this is going to be take two of this video simply because take one didn't have any audio because the little battery in my other mic went out. Totally my fault, user error. That's why y'all saw me turning around so I can make sure the green light is on as I film this. And so, which is actually good because it got to be too long. I'm gonna make this very short. This is a video that I promised myself that I wasn't gonna do. Can't pull in taco meat anyway, and that is a Hoodoo book recommendation. And y'all know I've said publicly a million times that any book written on Hoodoo in the last 20 years is absolutely garbage. Okay, let me clarify because there are two books that no, there's one that's actually not too bad. Is actually pretty good. But any how-to Hoodoo book, meaning spell book or whatever, within the last 20 years is garbage. That's what I mean. But I stand behind what I said. You cannot learn Hoodoo from a book. You need someone to teach you. But be that as it may, as you're learning, it doesn't help to have some resources to reference, and that's what this video is going to be about. First and foremost, I know it's going to come as a surprise to no one, but you're going to need the Bible. I don't care. I don't care. You church hurt. I don't care that your grandma kept you in there all day. I don't care about your last church where everybody talked about you. I don't care. Hoodoo and the Bible are intrinsically linked. No one says that you have to be Christian, but the ancestors that we venerate believed in this book. And so you will respect and uplift it. And if you're going to do traditional hoodoo and not some made up Wickadoo or Palo do or Orisha do, which I see around multiple apps, Orisha do, because everybody got, never mind, then you are going to work from this book and you are going to keep it reverently, not because of your past feelings, but because of the honoring of the ancestors. Okay. And also, as you read it, then you'll find workings. You'll find ideas and inspirations for workings. Okay? Just let the ancestors guide you. Get in here and don't listen. People ask me all the time, well, where do I start reading the Bible? The first words are literally in the beginning. So there you go. That's where you start. All right. So book number one of the five books, I think it's gonna be the title. Five books that I begrudgingly recommend when you start your Hoodoo journey. Number one is the Bible. Okay, number two, since we were talking about the Bible as book number one, let's talk about the book of Psalms. Everyone wants to start with the book of Psalms because I think it's like it's been categorized or sectioned off pretty like for a long time. And so, and even before we understood about things about hoodoo, if you went to church, you would see like the little pamphlets, like the ones that say "Our Daily Bread" or something like that, and it would say, "Well, if this is going on, you pray this psalm, or if that is going on, you pray that psalm." And it's funny, y'all will say that and see that, but we'll say, "I never saw any hoodoo growing up." Yes, you did, because if it says if this is going on in your life, pray this psalm. That's hoodoo, family. That's what we've always done. But since we're talking about the book of Psalms, book number two is going to be either Psalm Magic by Anna Riva or The Secret of the Psalms or The Power of the Psalms. They're the same book. It's just that it was written so long ago that different parts of it ended up in the public domain at different times. So different people repackaged it, but it's the same book, and it breaks down each psalm and what it can be used for. Like Psalm 132 says, "Prevail over rejection and disappointments." And it'll tell you what color candle to burn and what type of incense to burn. And then it'll give you an affirmation that you can recite after you pray. Like it'll say, though my progress be hindered, I shall triumph over all boundaries. So this has always been a resource, well, a version of this, be it Power of the Psalms, Secret of the Psalms, or this one is simply Psalm Magic, has always been a valuable resource, and many root worker has utilized it in their practice over the years. Book number three is another oldie but a goodie, and it's the Master Book of Candle Burning. Now, the the Psalm Magic book by Anna Riva, it talks about the Psalms, and the candles were just kind of a, oh, by the way, you can burn this color candle while you are focusing on this psalm. Now, the Master Book of Candle Burning talks about, they focus more on the candles and the color correspondences of the candles and the positioning of the candles. Like it'll tell you basically how to set up an altar, Well, here, it'll number them for you. What color candles, what at the different number, and how to move them. Like that says what to overcome an enemy. Okay, and then it'll tell you like it numbers them, and this one is this color, that one is that color, and then it'll tell you read this daily, and so the two kind of go hand in hand. And so you have one that teaches you to focus on the psalm, the other one teaches you to focus on the candle. In reality, a good teacher is going to tell you how to focus on both. Remember, mind, body, and spirit being in alignment so that you get a positive outcome. So Master Book of Candle Burning is book number 3. Highly recommended. Book number 4, you guys have heard me mention during several lives, and this is Voodoo Hoodoo by Jim Haskins. Now, does he touch on voodoo in this book? Yes, he does. But 90% of this book is written about hoodoo. Now, the funny thing about this book is it was published in 1978, so it's an oldie, right? It was written by a brother who saw hoodoo within our community growing up, and as an adult he decided he wanted to become like a spiritual anthropologist and just go around and do interviews, kind of like what the marketeers thought they got when they bet all of their business on Harry Middleton Hyatt, the white Presbyterian minister who went through the South in like the 1920s and paid money for interviews from root workers, and they told them some stories, and the marketeers thought, oh, this is a how-to book. Well, it's not a how-to book because they lied to him for 5 long volumes. So, but he was an outsider. Mr. Haskins was an insider, and he not only he lists some sample works in this book, but that's not the power of this book. The power in this book lies in the history that he puts into it. Pictures of old time root workers, old time advertisements. Um, it's funny. I flipped to it. There's an old advertisement for Rondo's Temple sales here in Atlanta. You see down at the bottom it says Atlanta, Georgia. And I used to go in that store as a child with my grandma. You know, so he delves into Southern history, Southern culture, and Southern root worker culture, and that is the value of this book because I think a lot of people just kind of know that hoodoo is black and southern, but they don't take the time to understand southern culture. And if you don't, then a lot of stuff that you read, even though it may be authentic, it's not going to make sense to you. That's why your workings are failing because you don't understand southern culture. And the last one was not written by a brother, but he is a brother if I got some fellow traveling men out there. And that's The Secret History of Memphis Hoodoo by Tony Kale. All right, so Brother Kale is not a root worker, never claimed to be. I've spoken to him personally. Okay. Never claimed to be a root worker. He is a cultural anthropologist. And he's this, he wanted to focus on African traditional religions for a while. And he's written some awesome books. Even like one of the books he wrote was it was a manual for law enforcement. So if they enter our homes and they see an altar or whatever, not to freak out, okay, and also to be respectful and not to just pick stuff up and smash it and whatever. And he's given several talks to law enforcement, but this book has no workings in it, but it has a ton of gems. This book gives a lot of history about hoodoo. It gives case studies. It gives um there pictures, interviews, and whatnot with prominent figures. It gives actually the origin of why some of y'all mistakenly call yourselves hoodoos and why it's a mistake. Now he does. Now I told him one time he before I gave it out, he was telling people the difference between John the Conqueror root and High John the Conqueror. I'm like, hold on now. And he actually interviewed a lot. This is an actual root worker right here. You see that old weathered hand. She since I think she passed away like a few years, like 5 years ago or whatever. But you see that oil she's holding? It's not one with a whole bunch of roots chunked in it. So that was a valuable resource. And, just to touch on why it's important to understand Southern culture, one, it's for the ancestors, okay? And two, Listen, you're not going to understand certain things. Like a working may call for a brown egg, and y'all actually after getting a brown egg, but down here that's a penny. A working may say you need to catch a scorpion, and y'all actually trying to catch a bug. Okay, but a scorpion down here is a blue striped lizard. Okay, a working may tell you that you need a spider, and y'all again trying to catch an arachnid. When in actuality, down here a spider is one of those a small black cast iron skillet. So if you don't understand Southern culture, you're not gonna understand stuff like that, and that is what brother Kale clears up, as well as giving a lot of information on the ancestors' journey, the different phases of hoodoo, from plantation hoodoo versus when we at the post emancipation hoodoo and things like that. So these are 5 books that I recommend. Oh, 6. Dang it, 6. Get you a good dream book. Get you a good dream book. A dream book is nothing more than, say, a dictionary with numbers. So if you dream about a cat, you look up cat and it'll give you some numbers. Or if you see some numbers that just keep replaying over and over again, then you look up the word that goes along with it. And that could actually be a form of divination for you. Okay? So, all right. So, look, it took a while for me to redo this video. And now the second version is longer than the first. Shoot. Anyway, hopefully y'all like it. I'm going to cut it short. Y'all have a good one. Profit out.